We're going to keep going with our collar and sleeve attacks today. I want to start with our omoplata before we build off into our lasso. Even if you've seen this before, it's good to keep this sharp. I think in the collar and sleeve, our primary function is going to be to separate the knee and elbow and look to attack either omoplatas, triangles, or at least close the guard. So we'll keep going with this trajectory today. Tyler's you here. Okay, so again, we're going to start with this collar and sleeve grip set. Let's talk about our control. Even I'll have you stand up for me today. We should be able to do this whether my partner's standing or kneeling. I just want us to build the recognition that when I'm controlling the collar and sleeve here, anytime there's any elbow and knee separation, that's a great time to attack. Okay. In terms of my leg positioning, you could wrap like a De La Hiva. Ideally, you want to get the foot to the hip at some point. Double, like both feet to the hips, it's okay, but it just is easier for Ty to like stuff this leg to headquarters. Okay, so it's not as ideal. You start to play collar and sleeve more, you start to find that the foot on the shoulder is a little bit stronger. It also helps like turn him, so it's going to expose this side of his body a little bit more. And that's the strength of our collar and sleeve. I'm isolating and working on this side of the body, trying to get elbow and knee separation here. But the weakness is also on the other side now. Because I'm isolating everything here, I'm not controlling that sleeve, so it's very likely that he's going to try and stuff this leg to headquarters and start to get close to me. And this foot in front of him pressing is like my distance management, so I definitely don't want him to stuff that leg. We'll talk about some contingencies after omoplata if he does manage to stuff. But I think for now, just be very proactive in terms of like pummeling this leg in. So if I feel Ty starts to wind his hand underneath my heel, I'm ready to like rewind and put my foot back to his shoulder. If he starts to beat me, then I pull my knee to my chest and then repummel here as well. Okay, another thing that I can also do is if my foot's closer to his hip and he goes to stuff, I can push my foot past his hip. And then it makes it really hard for him to stuff. And even as he steps back to stuff now I'll bring it forward and back again. So it's like a bicycle movement. I'm constantly doing like this to make sure he's never able to secure this leg between his legs, okay? Now, once I feel comfortable doing that, we probably are gonna start most likely in De La Hiva. He's usually gonna keep like his elbow and knee tight, so I have to like walk my shoulders back, pull with my ribs, and I can even think about like stomping my heel. Okay, I'm trying to press my hamstring into his knee, and that gives me a little bit of space to transition to my foot on the hip. Now I'm going to lift my hips up super high. Now that I've created that elbow and knee separation, my hips go up into the air. I think when we saw this on Tuesday, the triangle should be your first option because it's a little bit more secure as a submission. But better guys will also try to avoid the triangle by kind of either ducking their head out or posturing really tall. And I might feel like, yeah, here, there's no way I can get my leg over and across. So it'd be a very weak triangle if I shot it here. So instead, I'm going to focus on my left leg. So as soon as I'm here, I like to switch my grips. I switch from the collar to controlling this arm, and then my hand out on the sleeve can do one of two things. Either I can come to the belt to hold over him so again he can't jump, or I can go to the pant. What's nice about the pant is I'll grab this and I'll start hip escaping away. So I'll use my heel of my figure four leg, and I'll start hip escaping away, pushing the leg away from me here. And then that drops the knee off my body and then makes it a little bit easier for me to start attacking the omoplata. If you feel like you can just sit up, go ahead. I feel like it's kind of hard because his elbow's in the way. So at this point, I usually switch to the belt and I turn away from him. That way I can like pull my knees to my chest and it's very easy to go elbow, then hand, and then I can secure his hip and come back to my seated position. When I'm here, you could probably sit up and finish, but I want to get his shoulder to the floor first. So I'll hold the elbow, stomp my hamstring down. Now I see how the shoulder's touching the floor. It'll probably force him to start sprawling out. And then now I can start to, if it feels really hard to sit up on this diagonal, sometimes I'll even like let his elbow slip out just a little bit. It feels like he's gonna escape, but it feels worse. So from here now, I'll probably need less range to start to like, see I'm getting the tab before I'm even sitting up. Whereas if it's like really deep here sometimes, when it's hard to get up and like I might need more range of motion sitting up here, okay? Again, starting in that basic collar and sleeve grip, push me back a little bit. I have the same grips here on the same side. Here, I'm not isolating the side, so I want the same side as the sleeve. Okay, probably gonna start in De La Hiva because you'll keep the elbow and knee tight. And this is gonna be a fight in itself. You might just be here for a couple minutes trying to stretch him out. I'm pummeling my leg, trying to get it to the shoulder, turning him, pulling with my grips, pressing that hamstring into his knee. It's like I get my foot to the hip. Now I can lift up, punch it into the pocket, left leg comes over first, and then I lock that figure four again from so. collar and sleeve in De La Hiva. I'm gonna pummel my foot to the shoulder. I'm stretching everything. I keep like shooting my shoulders back, flaring my elbow high, and I'm pressing that leg and just creating enough space that I can put my foot to the hip. Hips up high. I'm meeting him halfway, so I'm pulling down, but I'm also lifting my hips up, and I have this foot as like a step so that I can switch my left to bite over the shoulder, locking the figure four, and then right away switching my grips here. There are other sweeps and things you can do from here, but I think the most basic idea is trying to get this leg off so we can get the finish. So switch my grips, control the pant, foot goes to the floor, and again, I'm just hip escaping away from him as much as I need to. Okay, if he's strong and stays on his knees here, again, play with just sitting up. You might feel comfortable just sitting up right away. I feel like it's kind of hard, so I turn away from him, still pinching my knees tight to my chest. Then I feel like I can get to my elbow, my hand, and then I can scoop back in. If his shoulder, again, is not on the floor, control the elbow, and think about like stomping the back of your knee